I would be remiss if I don't say this. You know, the life of a believer, it can be backwards sometimes. Would you agree? How many of you are saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost?
Yeah.
The whole nine. Sometimes it can seem very backwards.
It can.
And the reason being because when we have trouble, we don't just get one wave of trouble. We get earthquakes, we get hurricanes. Everything shakes us up at the same time. Would you agree?
Yes.
I mean, Paul said, I buffet my body. That word buffet means the blow after blow after blow after blow. That means everything comes at me all at once. And we know that because we love God, because we honor God, because we're faithful to his word, that we deal with a lot of situations. Inevitably, the enemy is going to fight you because he can see your future, but he can't stop your future unless you allow him to stop it. And it's hard to live a life for Jesus Christ when we don't have the right perspective of the difficulties that we have or the difficulties that we face. So today I want to give you something real simple. You know, I like to be simple. But in the same regard, I want to give you something that'll help you take whatever you're dealing with, whatever you're facing, learn to pick up the crumbs. Learn to pick up the crumbs. Because whenever we're going through difficulties, always know that God has something in the end for, or in the process of those difficulties. He doesn't just allow you to go through the fire without cooking you. He doesn't allow trouble to come into your life without putting a treasure in there. He doesn't allow you to go through pain without placing something inside of pain for you to go through. And usually what it is, it's not something external, it's something internal. Because God is not concerned more so about your external, he's concerned about the internal and the eternal application. Does that make sense?
It's good.
The eternal application is what happens after here and now. Are you with me?
Yes.
I know it's early for some people. I didn't go to bed till 4 this morning. However, let's read. You ready to read? Matthew 15, we're going to start at verse 21. It says this: Jesus went out from there and departed to the region of Tyre and Sidon. And behold, a woman of Canaan came from the region and cried out to him, saying, Have mercy on me, O Lord, Son of David. My daughter is severely demon-possessed. But he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and urged him, saying, Send her away, for she cries out after us. But he answered and said, I was not sent except to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Then she came and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. But he answered and said, It is not good to take the children's bread and throw it to the little dogs. And she said, Yes, Lord. Yet even the little dogs eat the crumbs which fall from their master's table. Then Jesus answered and said to her, O woman, great is your faith. Let it be to you as you desire. And her daughter was healed from that very hour. I'm talking from the subject, just a crumb. Just a crumb. And when you look at this, you have to ask the question, I have to ask this, how much can we really take? This woman didn't do anything wrong.
Come on now.
The only thing that could have been wrong with her, or wrong based on society, was the fact that she was a Syrophoenician woman, or she was a Gentile. She wasn't a Jew. She wasn't the right race, the right color, the right gender. She didn't have the right education. She didn't fall underneath the anointing that God had established for his particular people. But nonetheless, she continues to press toward Jesus. All these things, all these oppositions against her, she continues to go after him with everything she's got. And all of a sudden, we see that this woman doesn't get offended by what Jesus said or didn't say to her. Because usually when we're praying for something, and we're asking God to do something in life, I told you, when we're dealing with difficult situations, what happens is it's easy for us to get offended. And especially by church folk. Wait, you know what? Just go pray about it. God's going to heal you. You know what? You've sinned in your life. So God needs to do it. What? Really? Oh, maybe you should have done this. If he didn't do this, God wouldn't do this. We try to justify what's going on this whole time, but Jesus knows everything that's taking place. He's well aware of the whole process. He's well aware of what she's going through. He's well aware of how she's feeling. But the question is, can I stand to be offended? And let me give you this. Offense. Let me give you a little bit about offense. If you're offended by the method, you'll miss the message. And if you miss the message, you'll miss the blessing.
Oh, that's good.
The Lord said he sent his word and he healed them. If you're offended by the message, Matthew, and look at Matthew actually chapter 11, verse 6, Jesus says this, and blessed is he, or blessed are them who are not offended by me.
Come on.
God's offense is a pretense for your blessing. Everything that God does not make sense. It's an oxymoron. So there's some things that he'll say to you. There's some things that he'll do to you. There's some places that he'll put you. And if you take offense by it, well, that's not a loving God. I thought you loved me, Jesus. Why are you letting me go through this? If you love me, why did you let me suffer? If you love me, if you really care for me, if you're really a sovereign God, all we're trying to do is get God to answer our prayer. We're trying to get to his hand, but we forget about his heart. We're trying to get to what we want and what we desire, and we miss out on what he's doing through us. Faith does not change God. Faith doesn't even change your situation. Faith changes you. Faith changes me. See, when God is working on the outside, trust and believe that he's tweaking and adjusting things on the inside of you. That's what faith is all about. Faith is, it's an inward work that is expressed outwardly in my walk, in my talk, in what I believe, in what I do, in what I say. Everything that I do, everything that I say, it all comes down to, do I really believe you even if you're not answering me?
Oh, that's good. Come on, baby.
Even if I know you hear me, but there's no reply. I know you see me, but you turn your head. I know, God, that you asked me to be here, but these people... Ugh. You ever had that moment like, ugh? Like, are you, I don't know, that's just, I don't even know how to spell that word. Ugh. You just had that moment, ugh, God, why? But this woman, I don't know, let me give you this. Let me stay right here. We've got to learn how to pick up the crumbs. We've got to learn how to pick up crumbs. You see, God does not give you the whole thing. He won't. You can't handle the whole thing. If he dropped your blessing in your lap right now, it'll probably kill you. And you say, why would it kill me? Because he does exceedingly abundantly above what we ever can ask, think, or even pray about. He does that. You don't have the capacity to do it. So what he does, he gives it to you in the form of a seed, or he gives it to you in something so small and minute. Some of us look at it and say, what is this? This is not what I've been praying for. I'll never forget, I was working downtown, and I ordered some pizza. It was late, and pizza, was it Papa John's? I ordered one box of pizza, they gave me 4. And I was like, cool. Well, actually, no, I'm trying to watch this figure. So I said, let me do this. I said, I'm going to give this to this destitute individual I saw going through the trash. So I went to the alley where that person is, and I said, hey, would you like some pizza? I got 3 extra boxes. He looked at me and said, I don't want no pizza. What else you got? I felt offended. I was looking at him. This is something you need. I just saw you going through the trash not 3.5 hours ago. I'm bringing you something you need, and you don't want it? Excuse me. And for us, that's how we are when it comes to this walk. God brings us something we need, and we look at the package, or we look at the way it's delivered, and we're like, no, that's not God. God doesn't do it like that. Yeah. God didn't package it like that. God is a sovereign God. He's a loving God. God knows the desires of my heart. We misconstrue that scripture. When he says he gives you the desires of your heart, that's when your desires are lined up to his work, his purposes, and his plans for your life. And if we're not careful, as we're going through this walk, as we're walking and we're growing and we're learning and we're expounding on the things that God has taught us and what he's formed in us and what he's made us and what he's called us to do, we can get really offended because of God. And it doesn't make any sense. Because a lot of stuff don't make sense. Faith and logic don't work together at all. God doesn't need your logic. He doesn't need your faith. Excuse me, he doesn't need your logic. He doesn't need your brains. He doesn't need your education. What he needs is your faith. He needs you to trust him, though you can't see him, though you can't hear him, though it doesn't look right. He needs you to understand that he is in control.
Come on. That's good.
I'm writing a new book actually called Don't Trust the Process. Trust the one who made it. Because I'm not even trusting what I'm going through. I'm trusting who is the person taking me through it. And in this process, I want to give you a couple of things. God will never give you the whole loaf until you learn how to save the crumbs. It's the small things. Can I expound? Can I get excited about the small things that God gives me? Can I get excited about the little things that God does? It may not be as much as my neighbor. It may not be as grand as the person next to me or even the person living in sin. But you know what? I can still rejoice. Yet though he slay me, still will I trust him. Every single thing I experience, every single thing I do, I'm going to trust him about it.
Yes.
So let me give you this. This woman had crumbs. This is an acronym, crumb. The first thing this woman did, she picked up the crumbs, and this is how she picked it up. Number one, C, courage. She had courage. She had strength in the face of pain and grief. Why? Because she knew for a fact that I'm coming over here to a Jew, to a man, and I'm asking him to heal me. But not only that, I'm going to a place where I can easily be offended. I'm going to a place where I know they're going to talk about me. I'm going to a place where I know, in essence, society says I do not belong. But she didn't let that stop her. Her need was greater than her feelings and her emotions. And I wonder how many of us say we really want God to work in our life. We really want the blessings. We really want this thing we're praying for. But when God gives us an opportunity, we're like, ooh, I don't know, Jesus. We don't have the courage or the fortitude to continue to go forward or to continue in the pursuit of the thing that he's given us. Amen. The next thing she had resolve. Now this is what resolve is. It's firm determination. Mountains are going to come in your life. The question is, are you going to move them or are you going to climb them?
Come on.
Haters are going to come. Are you going to dismiss them or are you going to accept them?
That's good stuff.
I mean, think about this. You're going to have distractions going to come. Are you going to ignore them or are you going to dwell on them? There'll be opportunities in your life. Will you seize them or will you let them pass you by? There'll be mistakes. Are you going to learn from them or are you going to continue to make them? This requires you to have resolve. Resolve to say, you know what? These men talking about me. As a matter of fact, the disciples looked at her and said, looked at Jesus and said, look, tell her to go away. She's calling after us. What they actually were saying was, she using our language. She ain't even saved. How's she going to say son of David? She not a Jew. She not like us, Jesus. She using our language. This is why Jesus didn't answer her at first. Jesus did not answer her the first time because she came the wrong way. You got to know how to come to God. She came to God acting as if she was okay, like she was one of the ones that were saved. She was acting like she was one of the ones under the covenant, and she was not. How dare you say son of David? Because that frame, what that actually meant was you were saying that son of David, meaning I'm a part of that covenant with you. But many of us say this. We profess God with our lips, but we don't have him in our heart. And Jesus will not answer you if you do not have him in your heart. He's not gonna come and move waves and move mountains and do things in your life if you don't have the right resolve. Like, look, I made up in my mind, as for me and my house, I'm gonna serve God. As for me and what I do, I'm gonna honor God. What I say, what I look at, what I talk about, every single thing that I'm going through, it's about you, God. This making sense?
Yes.
Mornings. You still with me?
Yes.
Next thing she had was unwavering faith. The U is unwavering faith. She trusted Jesus more than she trusted herself. She was really determined. I told you faith doesn't change your situation. It doesn't move God. Faith does move God. It doesn't change your situation. It doesn't change people. It changes you. That's what faith does. It stirs up the workings in your life to trust God more, even despite everything that you see. The next thing she had was maturity. She's mature. Maturity enough, she made the proper adjustments to her request, and she did not allow the circumstances to get the best of her emotions. Because what happens is, we'll be praying for God to do something, and we're going well, and then all of a sudden somebody will say something to you. What they praying for? God ain't gonna listen to their prayer. They ratchet. They sinners. You messed up last week. And so we fly off in a tangent. We go off course to go talk to somebody in the crowd. I leave the track to go talk to somebody in the audience. I'll leave my course. I get offended by what they say, and so I go and defend myself. I have this vengeance for myself. I make everything right for me. I do this for me. But no one else. Not God. But she was mature enough to say, I know they're going to talk about me. I know they're going to laugh at me. I know it's not going to make sense. I know people are not going to like it. I know this is not lined up to traditions and the patterns that everybody else has. I know this. But you know what? I have this unwavering faith. But not only that, I have this maturity to know, though they talk about me, sticks and stones may break my bones. But their words I'm not going to let affect me. I'm only going to stand on what I heard. In Mark chapter 7:25, this woman said that this woman heard about Jesus. I heard that he opened the blind man's eyes. I heard that he healed the lepers. I heard that he fed 5,000. I heard that he cast out demons in some other people's lives. I heard that this was a King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. I heard about a man. So let me go see if this man is really real. That takes maturity. Matter of fact, maturity, the sign of maturity is this. Maturity is not what you hold on to, it's what you're willing to let go. Am I willing to let go of the offenses that people say in my life? Am I willing to let go of the things that I held on to for so long because of the way they look or what people said or what I thought of this person? Am I willing to let these things go?
Yes.
Am I making sense?
Yes.
All right, let me speed it up a little bit. Let me speed up. This is the teaching portion, guys, okay? You're still with me. Say, look at your neighbor and say, I'm with him. Look at me and say, are you with me?
Are you with me?
Here we go. Let me give you this. We'll go here.
Great.
John 15. John 15. This whole passage, John chapter 15. This chapter is all about bread. It's all about bread. And I think that as I was reading this and studying this, I realized something. In the first chapters, this is what happens. There's three group of people. There's supporting cast. Jesus is the main character, but there's three supporting cast. The first supporting cast are the Pharisees. And in the beginning of the chapter, you see the Pharisees. They come running to Jesus and they say, look, Jesus, hey, why don't your disciples wash their hands before they eat bread? Why don't they? And Jesus says, look, you know what? You let your traditions hinder you from seeing the truth. Your traditions have made the word of God null and void. You miss it. You miss everything. You miss the big picture. You're offended by how we handle the bread. Is that what your concern is about? At least you get to eat the bread. This woman didn't even get to eat the bread. She doesn't get to sit at the table, but you get to eat the bread. And you're offended. You won't take the bread because the way it's handled. You don't like the package it came in. You don't like how they dealt with it. See, this is the pretext. Now, if you go past this passage to the post-text, right after we talk about this Phoenician woman, you see the disciples. And Jesus is at the mountain. He's doing his thing. He's talking. He's ministering. And he's ministering so long, it's 3 days pass by. He says, look, okay, I'm feeling some type of way. Hey, we need to get these people something to eat. He tells them, say, go get them something to eat. And the disciples say, okay, wait. Where are we supposed to buy bread at, Jesus? There's not enough bread anywhere to take care of these people. See, the disciples were focused on problem. They were focused on, see, your bread, this is bread. There's not enough. This ain't going to cover nothing. This ain't covering nothing, Jesus. How am I going to feed everybody in this room with this?
Come on, preach the word.
How am I going to do that, Jesus? So, this woman, these disciples, They go and they find 5 to 7 loaves and a couple of fishes, and Jesus does his thing. You know how he do it. If Jesus breaks it, he blesses it, he breaks it, trust me, it's going to multiply.
Amen.
This is why brokenness is good in your life. If Jesus blesses you, he's going to break you. That's the first thing he does is bless you.
good.
Blessing you doesn't mean that immediately something happens and falls into your lap. What that means is God has just opened you up to receive what he has for you. He's opened you up to receive more of him. So when more of him comes to you, trust me, more trouble is going to come. But in that trouble, there's treasure. So what he does is he bless you, he breaks you. So you got blessed. He told you, yes, be fruitful and multiply. Boom, you're blessed. But all of a sudden, your bank account's funny. Your children acting crazy. Your spouse, what happened to them? This is not what you prayed for. Your job, oh my God. This boss is from hell. All these troubles come in. But see, that's the breaking period. That's the breaking period. So this woman, the pretext, and the post-text helps us understand the context. The Pharisees, the religious, they're full focus on tradition, that they miss transformation.
Oh, that's good.
The disciples are so focused on their troubles, what they don't have, that they miss transformation. See, the Pharisees are focused on the religion, the rituals. Well, we're supposed to do this. We go to church on Sunday. We're supposed to read our Bible. We're supposed to stand up. We're supposed to clap. We're supposed to do this blessed and highly favored. That's how I speak when I talk to people. Yes, sir. They do all that. They got religion. And the disciples, they're too rigid. So you got religiosity. You have these religious people and you have these rigid people. But see, they miss relationship. This woman comes to Jesus. She's not even supposed to be in the room. And the reason she can look and say, God, you know what? I don't care if you give me a crumb. Because I know just a piece, a morsel of what you give me is more than enough to change my situation.
Yes.
See, she understood something. I'm looking at Jesus, but she realized that Jesus is not just Jesus the way we see him. In John 6:35, Jesus said this. He says, I am the bread. I am the one that is broken for you. See, I don't need all this, Jesus. I don't need everything you got. I don't want the whole loaf. If you just give me a drop of crumb, I'll pick it up. I'll keep following where you go. You give me a little bit here, you give me a little bit there, I'll go there. If you give me a little bit here, I'll go here. If you give me a little bit over there, I'll go there. See, every step of the way was bringing me closer to my promise, to my miracle. More importantly, it was bringing me back to you. See, the thing about communion is this. When you think about this, the reason God breaks this up, I told you, he breaks it up on purpose. God does everything on purpose. Think about it. Every crumb, he knows every crumb he drops it on purpose. He dropped it on purpose. He purposely dropped this. I know Katie will probably get mad. She's going to have to clean up after this. Nevertheless, he drops it on purpose. Because he wants to see, are you willing to pick this up?
Yeah.
If you can savor the small thing, if you can savor this little thing here, what everybody wants to get this grandiose experience, but if you can just take this small thing, this is what I did for myself. I became meek, I became lowly, I became low, I became small, and I became unrecognizable to the people who were super religious, and I even became unrecognizable to the people who walked with me. But see, if you really are hungry and you desire a relationship with God, if you really desire this miracle, these signs and these wonders in your life, if you really want God to move in your life, you got to realize that every crumb that God drops, I better pick up. Because the more crumbs I get, the more loaf that I can have. Because all it is a piece of loaf. It's the same thing. If I'm not willing to accept that, I'm not willing to accept this. And with communion, what Jesus did, the reason the Pharisees really got upset, because what Jesus did, he did the same thing that he did with the 4,000 that he fed. The same thing that he did before his death. Is that he took the bread, he blessed it, he broke it, and he gave it. He caused separation. He separated it from it being whole. Why? Because no longer is it just for the Jew. No longer am I just for the people who come to church. No longer I'm just for the people who call my name and pray and read. I'm for everybody. I'm for the Jew, the Gentile. I broke myself part off. So you can have some. You can have some. You may not come to church. But see, this is what it's all about. can you really break Jesus off? Jesus wants to know, see, if I give you the whole loaf, I want to see if you really can handle this small piece. Because if you can take that small piece and break it off to other people, this is what's called ministry. Are you getting this?
Yes.
This is ministry. Jesus, if he stayed the same, if he stayed whole, we never could have him. Because there's 7 billion people on this planet. Not everybody could receive Jesus. You have to go to Jerusalem to get him. One loaf. But if I take this loaf and I break it, now I've just multiplied. I just multiplied Jesus in your life. 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 And this woman, the very thing that she was concerned about was not even about herself. She was concerned about her daughter. This all started because of her daughter. Her posterity, the longevity. She was more concerned about what are you doing in my future, not in my present. I'll go through hell for the present in order to get to heaven in the future. I'll go through some trouble right now in the present moment, and these moments I see in front of me, so I can experience your goodness.
Yes, amen.
I'll go through all of that if that's what it takes. And for some of us today, we have not partaken, or we have not taken of the bread. Or we haven't picked up the crumbs. We think we're too good for it. We don't like the way it's handled. We don't like the way the word is delivered. Yeah, I know I'm not as funny as today that I normally am. Because this ain't funny. The reason it's not funny is because so many of us miss Jesus in the small details.
That's good.
We wanted this grandiose. We missed the fact that it's his crumb. It's still him. It's just a small piece he's giving you. Because, see, it's that small thing. Never despise the day of small beginnings, Zechariah 4:10. Never despise it. You despise that, you despise the whole blessing. He's giving you a portion. This, in a sense, a sampling of it. And it's not to offend you. What you're going through, God is not trying to offend you. God is not trying to make you feel some type of way. God is not trying to cause you to leave his presence or to leave his people. What God has caused you to do is come back and be whole. Because again, every person that received a piece, if we all come back together, we make this bread whole again. This makes sense.
Good stuff.
So let's pray. It's simple. I think she finished on time. That's good. I'd attack. Father, thank you for your word. Thank you that you are the bread of life. That everything that we receive in this world is from you. The breath in our bodies, the sanity of our mind, the qualities of our relationship, everything comes from you. Where we've missed that, where we've not accepted it, where we've cast it off because it looked too small or didn't come in the package we thought it should come in, forgive us. Forgive us for not picking you up, for not taking you and grasping and taking hold of what you have given us, despite what it looks like. Father, I pray for those under the sound of my voice, those watching online, and those who are here right now. I ask you, Holy Spirit, to quicken them. Cause an awakening, an understanding, a discernment to see that no matter what they are experiencing in their life, whether it be at home, at work, their leisure time, no matter where they are, if it's trouble, if it's trials, if it's tribulation, if it's frustration, if it's opposition, whatever it is, Father, Lord, let them see you. Let them learn how to pick up the crumbs even in the midst of scattered and chaotic situations. Help us not to be offended by what you are doing in our life. Help us not to grow cold and grow weary or apathetic when it comes to your word, when it comes to this walk. Lord, help us to stand firm. Be steadfast and movable, Lord. Help us to really be committed to the end, to finish. like this woman. We don't even know her name, but her story was important. So much so that you put it in your word twice. Let it be said of us that great is our faith. Though someone gives us something negative, we automatically turn it positive. Lord, hey, we'll take it, Lord. We'll take it. We love you. We honor you. And we thank you that you allow us to be partakers of your bread, the bread of life. Thank you for reconciling it back within us. Thank you for allowing us to be co-laborers with you in this walk. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen. I pray you got something. I pray you got something. No, simple is wrong. I pray you got something. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah.